first three-point contest, and he just starts looking at guys, doesn't say a word, and people are getting kind of nervous. Then he finally speaks and says, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second.
I always tell this story about Larry Bird. I ask him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me.
Go to shake his hand, and Larry put both hands behind his back. He wouldn't shake my hand. In the first play of the game, he said, you don't even belong in the league, Holmes. And he shoots a three. Now, I wasn't mad that he made the three. But I said, did this something this called me Holmes?
Shit, like we talk or like...
Let me tell y'all something. Bird used to tell me, look here, man, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open.
I saw Larry take an F in an English class because he had to get up in front of his peers and give a speech. So I'm gonna do it.
Give me the ball and tell all the rest of the guys to get out of the way. I said, shut up, Larry. I'm the coach here.
Every shot was going in. Right? He runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league, and Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench who can guard me? He goes, so nobody out here can. Frank looked down at the bench and goes, no.
You on me? I said, yeah, I got size on you right now. I've been watching every movie. He goes, y'all not double teaming? And he's looking around. He goes, yo. I go, nah, it's just me, fella. He goes, mouse in the house.
I really hated to guard Larry Bird. He was not a nice guy. And he came back out and hit about 10 in a row on me. And the last one was left-handed. And he asked me if my mother was watching.
I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him.
For young guys that don't know him, you know, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter. But he was so much more than that. He was a passer. He averaged double-digit rebounds. He defended, he took charges. And, you know, he's a straight-up complete basketball player.
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
The money. Yo! Larry Bird at the buzzer.
He took off his top yet.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see when he took off his top.
I didn't want any, you know, like I call it love fest, hugging and slapping high fives with opponent. You're there for a reason. You're there to win a game.
Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed. Bird for three. Yes! Larry Bird for three with 4 seconds to go. Celtics lead it by. Gets it into Bird. Larry, a runner. Got it! Ball game's over.
Tie game. 13 seconds to play. Celtics basketball. No shot clock.
They called a timeout. He said, you know I'm going to get it. And I said, I know I'm going to be waiting.
I'm going to timeout. I'm going for a play. And I said, all right, this is what we're going to run. All right, then you get the ball. You go over here and you pass to Kevin. Then you go to the corner. Then Robert, you come over. Then about that time, Larry steps in and says, Coach, why don't you just give me the ball and tell everybody to get out of the way. Now, after the timeout, we walk back on the court. And Larry was going down to his position. So he tells Xavier, he says, I'm getting the ball.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot it right in your face.
10 seconds. 5 and Bird has the basketball. Look out. 2 seconds on the clock.
And, you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline like, damn.
Larry Bird just phenomenal the way that he will contribute in the clutch time after
John, Larry tries to fight his way through with Barkley all over. They're not going to call a foul. Goes to Bird. He's open. To spread the Bulls defensively. Let's see if they wind it all the way down. Bird low. Bird low. You can't double yet. Now you can quickly. Bird jumper. Good. 3.6 seconds left. Larry Bird gives the Boston Celtics a 2-point lead. Bird down low. Gets the ball behind. Michael comes over to try for the block, but nothing but
If you put all of us in a room, you know, Magic, Jordan, myself, and Bird Bird probably be the guy who walks out of the room at the end of the day.
We're in overtime, tied at 123.
Bird rotates in. Bird pops out, avoids the steal, gets it over to DJ. Bird goes right into the pivot. Now DJ holds the ball. Back in the Bird. The ball away is gone. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Boston Celtics have evened this NBA World Championship Series at 2 games apiece.
I remember we were playing Washington in Washington one night, and Larry just hit what would have been the game-winning shot, but KC called timeout.
It won't count. It does not count. Boston had called a timeout.
Larry came back to the bench, and he was a little upset.
He looks at the bench and says, hey guys, when I come back after timeout, I'm going to go right to the same spot, and I'm going to kick it in.
He told Washington, I'm going to get the ball.
2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot in the Celtics winner.
Boy, this is something else.
Incredible. And Bird wins it at the buzzer.
How many people you know would talk to the other team like this and says, I'm going to stick it in your face?
Bird, a runner. It's good.
As soon as Larry let it go. I was guarding him my rookie year. He looked at me and he goes, you can't stop me. And I looked at him and I said, gosh, boy, you're so confident. He goes, confident? You're a rookie. You don't know anything. He proceeded to score like 10 straight points on me. The coach took me out the game. He walks by and he's laughing at me.
Larry Bird catches the ball in the corner. I take off running out at Larry Bird. And right when he's getting ready to shoot, I jump. And as I go by, him, he tells me, he says, fly, Bird. And I go right by him, he shoots the ball, it's nothing but nylon.
Larry Bird was a pain in the neck. Anytime we had a chance to win, Larry Bird changed that.
Larry Bird. Almost his own shot. Oh, what a
There was a certain confidence you had because, if you ever got in trouble, give the ball to Larry and get out of his way. And he delivered.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
Hits it at the buzzer. All right.
He was a cold-blooded killer.
But when you played against somebody, do you remember? Well, you had the Bird night.
I had the Bird night. Yeah, that was a tough night, man. The biggest argument that night is, you only scored 6 on me.
But nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
You were trying to.
No, but when a guy is literally coming up the court, calling his shots, and Bird talked a lot of trash.
And that's in New Orleans.
That's in New Orleans. In that game, we're on the free throw line. And he literally says, left side over across the 3, and you're listening to him. That's a tough feeling.
But okay, so you guys got Antoine Carr and Cliff Levingston got fined by Fratello, I think,
and Eddie Johnson for celebrating
Bird.
Yeah, it was the best film session. Every time when I see Mike, we still laugh.
God,
it was
good.
It was the greatest film session ever, because back then you didn't have, you watched the real game and just went, with a video, and Mike rewound the celebration 20 times. He just kept, not the shot, he just kept rewinding it, showing the guys, you remember they're giving each other high five.
And then somebody falls off the bench.
Yeah,
too.
that was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson falls off the bench in laughter, and Antoine Carr and Cliff gives each other high five. And our film session was 20 minutes of that. So it was.
It wasn't somebody not playing good defense on Bird. It was you guys celebrating Larry Bird.
And Fratello wouldn't let it go. He just kept rewinding. And it was.
I think Bird went by the bench one time too.
He fell in the bench.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and he called that one. That was the one where he fell in it. He literally said, "Off the glass into the trainer." And,
No way.
Yeah, and so it was a bad night.
He was a basketball genius. He'd be a step ahead, a thought ahead, play the game like a chess game. I'd much rather guard Michael Jordan than Larry Bird, because you have to play the game as a thinker when you're playing him. You have to get inside his mind. Larry wasn't quick, couldn't jump really high, but there was just some sleepless nights.
Bird takes the pop. It's gone. Get in.
The All-Star game is in Dallas, the first three-point contest, and he just starts looking at guys, doesn't say a word, and people are getting kind of nervous. And then he finally speaks and says, I'm just looking to see who's going to finish second.
Some pure trash talking and just general bravado. And the theatrics of it all was made for Larry.
And Larry would back up his boast by not only winning the contest, but blowing away the competition with a phenomenal shooting display.
That check's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing, and my teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
At the end of one of the trips, he had accomplished every goal. We hadn't lost a game on the trip, and Larry told all of us players, and the media too, we were all standing around waiting to leave, he said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed at least through 3 quarters.
What a performance by Bird!
And at the end of 3 quarters, the next night in Portland against poor Jerome Kersey, he had 27 points left-handed, and it was remarkable.
Larry fakes the Bird. He passed it off the backboard to himself.
This guy was going to do one thing almost every night that really spun your head around, made you do like, couldn't believe this was happening.
To Vincent, to Bird. Over the backboard! Oh, I don't believe it.
He was playing chess and everybody else was playing checkers. He was 3 moves ahead of everybody else. And you never knew what he was going to do, but you knew it was going to be something special.
Bird steals it. You can see it coming, and look at the pass to McHale.
Isn't that beautiful?
In last year's playoffs, Person was out to make Bird eat his words, while adding a few choice comments of his own.
Chuck Person, he definitely has his reputation. During the playoffs, he just went AWOL, you know, and he just went to work.
You can see Bill playing a little Bird, giving it back to him kind.
Chuck Person can talk some trash to Larry Bird now. He scored the last 16 points.
Chuck and Larry down low, greeting one another once.